Stop what you're doing and look at a pencil. Notice anything weird? They're almost all yellow. But here's the thing. Wood isn't yellow. Graphite isn't yellow. So why did someone decide to paint billions of pencils this one specific color? The pencil sitting on your desk right now is part of one of the most successful marketing moves in history. And it all started because of a lie. A beautiful, profitable lie that worked so well, every pencil company on Earth copied it. But to understand why your pencil is yellow, we need to go back to 1847, to a mine in Siberia, and to the moment one company figured out how to turn a color into a status symbol. For most of the 1800s, pencils were just plain wood. No paint. No branding. Nothing special. They looked like small sticks because that's basically what they were. The pencil industry had a problem, though. All pencils looked the same, so how do you make yours stand out? How do you make people think your pencil is better than the other guy's pencil when they're literally made of the same materials? American and European pencil makers were facing serious competition. The best graphite in the world came from England, and English pencils were considered superior. If you made pencils anywhere else, you were seen as making the cheap stuff, the second-rate products, the pencils people bought when they couldn't afford the good ones. Then, in 1847, something happened that changed everything. A massive graphite deposit was discovered near the border of Siberia and China. This wasn't just any graphite. This was some of the highest quality graphite ever found outside of England. The location? Near a place called Siberia, close to China. And this is where the story gets interesting. A pencil company called Koh-i-Noor, based in Austria, got their hands on this Siberian graphite. They started making pencils with it, and the pencils were actually really good. But nobody knew that. Nobody cared about some Austrian pencil company. They wanted English pencils, because English pencils were the best. That's just what everyone believed. So Koh-i-Noor had incredible graphite, but no way to tell people about it. Remember, this is the 1800s. No internet, no TV commercials, no Instagram ads. If you wanted to communicate something about your product, you had to get creative. Someone at Koh-i-Noor had a brilliant idea. China and the Far East were seen as exotic, mysterious, and valuable in the minds of Europeans and Americans. Chinese products meant quality. Chinese art, Chinese silk, Chinese porcelain. These were luxury items. So, Koh-i-Noor decided to associate their pencils with China, even though the company itself was Austrian. How do you make a pencil look Chinese? You paint it yellow. In the 1800s, yellow was strongly associated with China and Chinese royalty. The Chinese emperor's royal color was yellow. Chinese art used a specific imperial yellow in paintings and decorations. When Europeans thought of China, they thought of gold, silk, and that distinctive yellow color. Koh-i-Noor launched a pencil line called the Koh-i-Noor 1500. They painted these pencils bright yellow, not a pale yellow, not a subtle yellow, a loud, unmistakable, in-your-face yellow that screamed luxury and exoticism. They were basically saying, these pencils contain special graphite from near China, and they're so premium we're going to paint them the color of Chinese royalty. The marketing worked. It worked incredibly well. People saw these yellow pencils and immediately associated them with quality. The color became a signal. Yellow meant premium. Yellow meant your pencil had the good graphite. Yellow meant you weren't using some cheap wooden stick with terrible graphite that would break every 5 seconds. Other pencil companies noticed, and they did what every company does when they see a competitor succeeding. They copied it. Within a few decades, almost every pencil company was painting their premium pencils yellow. The color became an industry standard. It got to the point where if your pencil wasn't yellow, people assumed it was low quality. The color that started as a marketing trick became the expectation. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The whole association with China? That was just marketing. Yes, the graphite came from near the Chinese border, but it was Siberian graphite, not Chinese graphite. And it wasn't even necessarily better than graphite from other places. Koh-i-Noor just needed a story to tell, and Our Graphite Comes from the Mysterious Far East was a story that sold pencils. The American pencil industry jumped on the yellow bandwagon hard. Companies like Dixon Ticonderoga made yellow pencils their signature product. The Ticonderoga No. 2 pencil, yellow with the green band, became the most recognized pencil in America. Standardized tests required No. 2 pencils, and almost all of those pencils were yellow. Think about how wild this is. Billions of pencils have been painted yellow over the last 150 years because one company in Austria wanted to make their pencils seem more exotic and luxurious. The color has nothing to do with the function of the pencil. It doesn't make the graphite better, it doesn't make the wood stronger, it's pure marketing, and it worked so perfectly that we don't even question it anymore. The yellow pencil became so embedded in culture that it's now a symbol. When someone draws a pencil in a cartoon or an illustration, they draw it yellow. When emoji designers created a pencil emoji, they made it yellow. When kids are asked to imagine a pencil, they imagine it yellow. A marketing decision from the 1800s became the default image of what a pencil should look like in the human mind. The association worked both ways, too. Yellow became linked so strongly with pencils that the specific shade used by many pencil companies got its own name in the design world. Some people call it pencil yellow. The thing became so iconic that the color itself is now defined by the object. There's something beautiful about this if you think about it. We live in a world where billions of objects are a certain color for no practical reason whatsoever, just because one company over a century ago made a smart marketing choice. And that choice was so effective, so perfectly executed, that it outlived the company's original reasoning. Nobody today buys a yellow pencil because they think it contains premium Chinese graphite. They buy it because that's what a pencil looks like. The lie became the truth through sheer repetition. So next time you pick up a yellow pencil, you're holding a piece of marketing history. That color is a reminder that sometimes the things we think are natural or obvious are actually the result of very specific human decisions. Someone chose that. Someone painted the first pencil yellow, created a story around it, and convinced the world that this was just how pencils should be. The pencil didn't need to be yellow. It still doesn't. Some companies make pencils in other colors, and they work exactly the same. But yellow won. Yellow became the pencil color because one company understood something important about human psychology. We don't just buy products, we buy stories. And the story of the exotic yellow pencil from the Far East was a story worth buying. That yellow paint on your pencil is a layer of history. It's proof that marketing can shape reality, that associations can become stronger than facts, and that sometimes a good story matters more than the truth. If you want more stories about the weird history hiding in everyday objects, then please subscribe because another one is coming your way.